you can use it very easily. It's designed to basically turn on, start recording. If you're thinking about this Canon camera, the PowerShot G7X Mark III, is it a good option? Well, that depends what you're thinking about. You can pick them up for a great price. Now at the moment, there are actually a few options in this camera. You can get the one I've got, or you can get the black version. The black version is the one you're seeing on screen right now. The one I've got is a silver and black version. And the good thing about this camera is it's got an automatic mode, but today I want to walk you through all the specs. When I say specs, I mean more the menus. So in the camera, it can be confusing. So what I've done is, for you especially, I've plugged in a HDMI cable. So on screen right here, if I can point to it, is digitally there. It's not actually here. So I have to point at it like a television weatherman presenter style. So the menu is on screen. So what does each of these mean? And just like magic, it's turned off. So I'm going to reset it. First up, HDMI mode. That gives you a view of the camera. So I've plugged in HDMI. It actually gives you a live view, so you can use it as a webcam. So that's like already winning in my eyes. Menu. The first option there, we've got along the top, you'll notice there is a little camera, and this is, wait, let me go to top. I would normally touch screen it, but because it's on screen, I can't touch it. It is a touch screen. So the first camera has 6 sub menus under it. We're going to look at each of those. But you've got the star, which is a green menu. You've got the yellow one, which is a spanner. You've got, well, let's go back through that. You've got purple for setting up. We've got video mode kind of menu. Let's go back to the start, the camera, and let's go number 1. Just like that. So first up, shooting mode. What I'm doing here is I'm selecting with the little spinning tool behind it. First up, we're going to select, and you've got modes: movie, auto exposure. What does that mean? So if you're totally new to video and photos, you want to put it in auto exposure mode, which will allow the camera to set everything up for you, which basically means the ISO speed, the ISO rating, the shutter speed, the aperture. All of it will be controlled by the camera automatically based on your situation. It's not the best way of doing it if you want to get really fancy, but it is a good one because it does everything for you. So if you're someone that just wants to film, you're not too fussed, you want just video, that'll do fine. The next one, this video blog mode is actually an upgrade. You have to update your camera's firmware. I did a full video explaining how to update the firmware. The reason you want to do that is it upgrades the firmware from 1.2 to 1.3 because this camera has not been great for auto focusing when you're recording a video or vlogging. So they've actually updated the firmware, which gives you this extra little video blog mode, which focuses rapidly, follows changes in the scene, which is basically the menus there, suitable for recording daily events easily, so vlogging. They've actually given you like a little menu. If you haven't got this, if you've got the same camera I'm talking about here, the Mark III G7X, then you can simply upgrade it. It's free. There's no charge for it. It's not too intense. I've done a 3-minute video explaining exactly how to do it. The next one here is my favorite. It's the movie manual exposure mode. So movie mode, in which you can set the shutter speed and aperture and the ISO. So this is what I like to do. The reason I like to use this is if you're taking videos and it's a cloudy day, I'll set the aperture to really low. Then I'll set a shutter speed to about 60 frames a second based on if I'm shooting 24p video or 50 frames a second even. And the ISO as low as possible, because if it's outdoors, there's enough light there. But you need a little bit more experience about these 3 settings: the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture, and how they work with each other. But if you're totally new to cameras, don't worry. I've done like a full explanation course about that, explaining those 3 things and how they affect your video. So you can scratch up on that quite easily by watching those videos. I've done it in the sense of someone new to cameras or photography. So that would help you. The last one here is a HDR video mode. So this basically makes the video a little bit more poppy. So it makes the colors a bit more contrasty, gives you like a nicer high definition feel basically. I'm not a big fan of it. I like to shoot manual video, and then I would go into my video software, editing software, and if I wanted to adjust something, I'll do that there. But being a Canon, the colors already on the videos tend to be good, so you don't have to really like have too much worry about the colors unless you're doing like a full-on film grade. But if you're doing a film grade, you won't be recording with a point and shoot camera firstly. So we have to look at it for what it is and understand that the camera will have limitations, but for daily vlogging, easy videos, holiday videos, perfect. I like how easy it is coming from a DSLR. I'm like, wait a minute, wait, this is so easy, and it's pocketable, very good size. So I'm not selling the camera, I'm giving you the menus and breaking down how to use it. So hopefully this helps you, because I do like it, based on there are some flaws of the camera which you probably will notice as I speak about it. To go back, you press menu button again and it goes back. So that was the shooting mode that we looked at. Next up, movie record quality. What's that all about? You'll notice there it's got some settings there. Let's click set, and right now the movie record size, you'll see movie record quality on the menu, and then on the menu itself you've got the dimensions and how long it records for. So first of all, this will record for 29 minutes and 59 seconds, about 30 minutes basically, in HD mode continuously. But most of the time, if you're recording vlogs, you might not be recording continuously. You might be doing lots of little segments, like as things happen throughout the day. So I didn't find that as a bit of a, I didn't find it as a hindrance at all to me for my recording of events. If you select it, you can see as I move up, there's different options here. So let's have a look at these, and I'll give you an example of where I would use which one. So the first one right at the bottom, it's 1280 by 720p in 60 frames a second. So this is basically 720p video, the lowest quality video this camera will do. What would you use this for? If I was doing something where I wanted to not use as much space, and it was something, for example, I was just recording videos for my own purpose. If I'm fixing a computer, for example, and I wanted to record just putting parts together and what order they went in, I could set up the camera on a tripod and I record in 720p. In that way, I can get loads of camera footage on a card and not have to worry about size, if that makes sense. In terms of cards and sizes for the memory card, we'll talk about that as well and explain what cards you want to use. So that's like a little bit of an example. Is 720p enough? Probably. If you've got good lighting like I've got here, it'll be fine. If you've got bad lighting, you might want a higher quality video, which when you use 1080p. So if I move over slightly, you'll see full HD, FHD stands for full HD, is 1920 by 1080. Again, that's 60 frames a second. And then if I go over and up here, that's 24 frames a second in 1080p. So when you're doing video, 24 frames a second tends to be like a nice option to have a natural blur on the video, so it looks a bit more interesting. So that's something to think about if you want to make video clips that look a bit more cinema film vlog style kind of thing. So I normally shoot in 24 frames a second all the time where possible. This camera has it. Then we've got 4K. You can see it's 4K by the dimensions. It's 3840 by 2160, and this is 24 frames a second again. Nice. And then up here we've got full HD in 30 frames a second, and then we've got 4K in 30 frames a second. But you'll notice the timer there, I stuttered a bit because it only records 10 minutes in full 4K mode. Have I had problems with that? Not at the moment, because I've not recorded in 4K for that long. I've done couple of vlogs about some office chairs that I bought. I talked about like what office chair to get and which is a good one and upgrading, and that didn't bother me. I did loads of little clips. I think that biggest clip I did, I continuously spoke for 5 minutes, and it was like that was enough. Nobody wants to hear my voice for longer than that. But yeah, that is a limitation, so you need to be aware of it. If you're thinking of making 4K videos for like an hour continuously, you can't do it on this camera. After 10 minutes it will shut down and say it's too warm, so keep that in mind. So if you got short clips, perfect. So that was the movie rec size. So you can press select and it will select the size you want. Let's go down, let's go to 24 frames a second, 1080p, which is adequate for me. Next down here, high frame rate. It's disabled at the moment. If you click it, you can enable it or disable it. What does that do? Well, it boosts up the frames per second. So you'll see there, I've got 120 frames a second now if I put it in enable mode on the high frame rate. Why would you want to do that? So this will be things like, for example, I was recording my dog. We were doing a walk and I was showing an example and he was running past. I made it high frame rate mode. I recorded my dog and it actually made him slow-mo in camera. A little clip I recorded. So when you're putting this mode on, make sure the video clip you're recording is the one you want slow-mo. Don't record everything in this mode. And then that way you've got a little clip already ready at slow speed and it looks quite good. It wasn't excellent. It wasn't like a Sony a7 III slow-mo, smooth, buttery smooth, but it's perfectly adequate. For the type of camera it is, it worked really well. So that's that. Let's go menu. So we've done 2 of the first menu. Hopefully this is in depth for you. I'm giving it from my point of view and how I use it and how I think of it, so hopefully that helps you. Next down here, movie self timer. This is a good one. You know why? You can put it on 2-second mode. Well, there's 2 options there, 10 second or 2 second. So movie self timer basically refers to when you press record, it's going to give you a little pop-up on screen saying 3, 2, 1 or 2, 1 and then start recording, or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 or 5. So if you're setting the camera up somewhere for a vlog, you can put it on the 10-second timer, leave the camera, press record, go away and then you'll see on screen, because you can flip the screen up like that, you'll see it count down, so you're already in the shot ready to speak. So when you're editing, you don't have to cut out the bit where you walk around the camera and stand in front of it, so it's like less editing basically. That's quite handy. I normally have it on 2 seconds, because when you press record on screen, the camera can move a little bit when you're pressing the button. It looks a bit awkward. So having the 2 seconds, I press record and it counts to 2 and I'm already ready looking at the camera. So 2 seconds, very handy. Okay, so menu, that's 3. So sound recording, I've set it on auto, and you can see there the microphone moving. Automatic is the camera decides everything for you for the audio. If you're plugging a lav mic or wireless microphones, I would go into there and do manual, and then decide by this recording level where you want it to be. So you can see there, you can move that up and down so that it doesn't record too high. Let me give you an example of why this would be something to think about. Let me go up here. So let's go to auto. If it's in auto mode, see that, if for example that was wind, it will auto compensate for the wind, and when it's quiet, it'll put the volume a little bit higher, so you get like a bit of extra noise that you don't really want. So auto mode's not excellent. If it's a quiet environment, you're fine, but if it's somewhere where there's a lot of high and low volume, then you don't want to be using that mode. So I normally do manual, or you can disable it entirely if you want to not have audio on your video. I do manual normally, and you've got a wind filter actuator which you can disable. I've got disabled there, a wind filter, I've got it on auto, so that kind of helps reduce the wind noise. So the camera mic on top of the camera itself is just on top of the front here. There's 3 little like spaces, and there's like a little grill there which has a mic on it. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of detail about that. So that's number 1. So we've done well so far. Let's have a look at number 2. Remote control. You can enable or disable that based on if you're using it via remote shutter release, for example. That's something you would buy separately. Time-lapse mode is disabled because in this camera, you will notice here, I had a salve timer on. Okay, so because the HDMI cable is plugged in, I was not getting the option there for time-lapse movie. What is that all about? You'll see I've got it on disable. Let me explain it like this, because if I plug the HDMI cable in, it won't allow me to show you this menu. So I'm recording the screen, basically. So time lapse disabled. If I go to scene 1, that is shooting movie subjects such as walking people. Say for example you've got a city center and you want to set your camera down and do a time lapse of people walking past, like that nice effect where everyone's walking really quickly, you would select that option. If you're doing some landscape work, you can use this as the one for clouds, so like making the clouds slow down, well, speed up, so fast clouds basically. It looks very good. And then the third one you've got for shooting slowly changing scenes, so things like if you've got a river or water, that kind of thing. And you've got a custom where you would, if you're a bit more advanced, you can use that to set it up. But let me give you the first scene example. So if you go there, you'll see it's called time lapse movie. It actually makes the time lapse for you in camera. It stitches all the photos together. Excellent. You don't have to use editing software, so I really like that because it's all ready to use for me. So here you'll see it takes intervals, so it takes 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds it'll take a photo, and it takes 300 photos in total. Takes it in the movie record size 4K, which I've set. You can do it in 1080p if you want it smaller. So here, fixed first frame, so auto exposure. What this means here is, say for example I've taken a photo of a cloudy day. The first photo, it was a bit darker, and as it, or actually it's bright, and slowly, gradually it gets darker because obviously time, that's what time does, the sun goes down. So the fixed first frame means it will use the first frame exposure. So if it was dark, it'll consider everything else with those dimensions. Or you can change it for each frame, so every time it takes a photograph it re-exposes. So in that you might get like a jump of different dark, bright, dark, bright, bright, dark kind of situation. So that's why I set it to fixed first frame, so it's all even, there's no change in it. And then you've got enable auto off, which basically turns off the screen to save a bit of battery power. You can disable it if you want to see the screen do its thing. Beep as image is taken, that is disabled because, not really, because of the associated function settings. Beep. Okay, yeah, so I've turned beep off basically. So in there, that was the first menu. You can go menu and go back, and then let's go to menu and let's go to the second scene. So if I go there, what? Oh, is it because I've set it up? Menu. Okay, let's go back into it again. Menu, time lapse. I've already put it into scene 1, so it's actually ready. I've chosen that. So how this would work is, let me show you. Actually, that might be a good thing. So because I've selected scene 1 here, and then if I go menu and then menu, right now you'll see it's giving you a message on screen. So that's if you were taking it. Configure exposure settings on this screen. Fully press shutter button to take a test shot to check exposure. press movie shooting button to get ready to shoot the time-lapse movie. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera ready to do its time-lapse. So you will need a tripod. Put it under your camera, go a little bit higher if I wanted to make a more interesting shot. And what we'll do is we'll show you that there. So firstly, I'm going to take a photograph. So that is a photograph. Let's go info on the back of the camera, which shows me the photograph. Info again. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So then I will say that was a camera photo. So set, go menu, go back here. So exposure, yeah. Then you can press the record button once, and then you press the shutter button, and now that's it. So that's taking it. Screen isn't going to start taking every 6 or whatever every 3 seconds. So that is the time-lapse mode. It takes photos, it stitches them all together, and you'll have a video clip ready with it all. So it's about 20 minutes for that mode. There's different modes that you can do it in. So the scene 2, 1, 3, you can change the timing of it to make it look more interesting. But that gives you an idea of that. When it stops, it will automatically stop. So I can just turn it off here by pressing that number there, select menu. So I've stopped it myself. So let's have a look and see if I gave it enough time to at least make something, so you can see what it made. Because as it makes it, if you stop it early, if I go play, so see that there, play movie, it's too short and there's nothing changing in the scene. But that's the movie. So you see this, it's just a slight change, but that wasn't long enough. But that was your time lapse in camera. I'll show you how it looks. You want to see an example? Let me show you an example. So you would have seen the time lapse that you're able to achieve with this, and you can see here I disabled it, but you can use 3 different modes depending on what you're doing. So let's go back. So that's 2 menus covered. Next, well, at the moment I'm not going to show you that because of the associated functions movie rec quality. So let's go okay. Let me go menu and show you how that works, just so it helps you. So if I go here and let's go down to full HD and let's go menu. So let's go, what we're determining here is the quality. So let's go okay. Let's go menu. No, so you can see it's still grayed out. So what we're doing here is discovering at what point it allows us access. So it allowed us access when we put it into high frame rate mode. So you'll notice here, if I disable in menu 1, if I disable the high frame rate option like that, the high frame rate, which basically gives you more photos per second, making slow-mos look nicer. If it's disabled, when you go back to here, the video snapshot is disabled, so it's linked to that option. So if you're wondering why that doesn't work, you can come back here. There's a couple of these in this camera that I noticed, so it'd be like interesting. So if I go there and then enable this and then go menu and then come back over here, video snapshot is now magically available. So it can actually give you the snapshot based on your album settings, and yeah, I've not really used it. I might give you more information about that. So what I have done is I've put the HDMI cable back in to give you the view here, because that's a bit nicer to see than seeing my screen. With the video snapshot, we looked up some more information. I looked at the official advanced guide on Canon's website, because the basic one they give you in the box is basically setting up the camera, putting the battery in, putting the memory card in, putting the strap on, and how to record. There's no actual advanced information which I'm giving you now. So video snapshot is enable or disable. Let's enable it like that, and then you get these additional options at the bottom. The idea here is how they explain it to you is it's a highlight reel of your event. So say for example I'm taking my camera on holiday and I'm visiting 4 different places. I can make an album for each of those places, and then when the videos are made, it saves it into each of those albums. So when you're editing, you know which day is in which folder. So that might be a good option. I can see myself using it, but is it going to be too hard to set up? Is it too finicky? Let's find out. So album settings, you can select new album, create a new album. The next video snapshot will be added to a new album. Okay. And then playback time 4 seconds. Let's go. Yeah, we'll keep it at 4. Playback effect is grayed out because not available because of the associated function setting movie record quality. Okay, so maybe we need to change the quality of the recording. Show confirm message. Okay, so let's go menu. That's enabled. Let's go back to the video quality. Shooting mode manual. I wonder if it has to be in automatic. Let's try auto. It'll do its thing. And let's go menu again. Okay, movie self time is off. Let's go back here. Let's see if that's given us the option. Playback effect, it hasn't. Movie rec quality, interesting. Okay, So let's go menu and let's give it a test. So let's say, okay, I'm recording. So this, ooh, save as album. So it took I pressed the record button, but it actually took a photograph. So it's saying save as album, playback video snapshot, do not save album, save as album. I want to do all three. Okay, let's do save as album. Okay, so that's an album. So now would I, okay. What? Oh, what was that? Okay, add to album. So it's taking another photo, save as new album. But I was pressing the video record button on here. So it's funny that I took a photo when I was recording a video. Okay, so if we go playback video snapshot. Oh. It was in slow-mo mode. Delete without saving to album. Okay, delete without saving to album. Let's do that again. I might do something really, because it's in slow-mo, so watch this. That should have been slow-mo. Okay, so let's go playback video snapshot. Oh my god, can you see that? Oh my god. Let's play that again. What is that? Oh, we need to do something more exciting. One minute, we need to do something more exciting. Okay, so I want to do, okay, let me delete that one, because that looks a bit silly. Delete without saving to memory card. Okay, we're going to do another one. Okay, so let's see. Okay, 1 minute. So you go video playback video snapshot. Oh, look at that slow-mo catch. I could have done it twice. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, let's save that one. Save as new album. Say add to album. Okay, I want to see how these show. Okay, so let's go back to menu. So let's go video snapshot disable. And let's go menu. And I want to go back and see what that does. Okay, so if I go play. Okay, but I can't really see. I think when I put the memory card in the computer, it might show me that. Okay, that was one. Let's try that again. So let's go video snapshot. Let's enable it. Album settings. Create a new album. Add to existing album. Ah, so that is an album. You can see the little red. Okay, so menu back. Create a new album. Okay. New albums created. Let's go menu. Let's go back. So now let's do, pretend like this is a different location. So let's do, oh, Christmassy. Okay, let's play that back. Let's go save as album, playback. Slow-mo. Save as album. So we're still playing with this to see how this would work and if it's a good option. Playback video snapshot. But let's go back into menu mode. So in theory we should have two albums. So video snapshot, let's disable it and let's go menu. And now when I go back here, let's disable the high frame rate mode because I don't want it to be slow-mo basically. And let's move over there. Okay, you can't get that anymore. So that is number 2 menu. But before we look at number 3, what I'm going to do is take the memory card out of here, put it on my computer and see what those album folders look like on the computer. Let's have a look at that. So looking at this, 11th of December, it's only showing me one clip, but I know I did more than that. And that's a picture. There's one here. Ah, okay, here we are. So they're not really in different, they're just movies, not separate. I thought they'll put a new folder and separate it. Let's have a look at these. There's me being a doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And then let me show you this one. Oh, it combined those two together. So that was a separate clip. And then that was a separate clip. And it combined them together like a bit of a highlight reel of the events. I'm trying to think. So I think that would be good for if you were doing videos throughout the day, you'll have to remember to go into that mode at certain points to get a compiled clip together, which then means you've got loads of clips compiled, which you don't need to edit later. I don't see myself using that, but it's there. So yeah, I will put a link in the description to the full manual, the advanced manual of the camera, which means if you're interested in that option, and I've not done a good job explaining it, you can actually look at what Canon say. So that might help explain it. But in real life situation, I don't see that making any use for my uses. I thought it'll make a separate folder and put clips into them from different events. That would be epic, because then you can easily just grab, okay, day one of holiday there, we went to boat riding there, we went to car bit there, we got go-karting there, like, but yeah, who am I? Okay, so looking at that, we are going to swiftly move on to another menu. So now we're going to be looking at the third menu. As you can see on screen, this one's got quite a few options in there. So you can see there's a you can scroll through them as normal. Let's have a look over here, and you're going to say exposure compensation. So you can select that, and you can either make your image a little bit darker or a little bit darker or brighter. So these kind of things, I would see these in, for example, if I'm taking a photo on a sunny day, I will tend to make it brighter in camera, but with the compensation I'll probably knock it down a bit, because you want it, if anything, you want it a bit darker, because you can recover that light back than having it in a brighter. So that's an example use of that, and you've got it on the top of the camera anyway, so you can actually use it from here. You can see, wait, let me show you. So if I select the top of the camera, if you look at my menu section, it'll show you the menus and how to use them. You can scroll between that. That's one of like the quick dials on top of the camera. So you can see here, that's like the quick dial, which is the exposure compensation. So a lot of people use it. I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm showing you it, but yeah. So ISO speed settings, that is going to be something that will be interesting now. So ISO is the camera's way of depicting light. I'll say it in those terms. There's loads of fancy explanations for it, but think of it like how bright or dark the image is. And it's not based on what the camera sees, it's more based on what the camera's image processor decides. So it's like a digital lighting type thing. In old film cameras, it's totally different, because you had a set film ISO that you put in your camera, but these days it's digital. Okay, so you can set a range of minimum and maximum. So what this means is, if you put it into a mode, 6400 is way too high. I would never want it to be that high. Let's go to, with this type of camera, I'll stick at 800, I think. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's a 1-inch small sensor. If I had a full DSLR camera, like my 5D, Mark 2, 3, 4, I can knock it up to 6400 and not worry, because it's got a bigger sensor, lets in more light, it can handle it. With this smaller sensor, you'll start introducing noise and the image will look a little bit grainy. If you don't mind that, and you're doing family photos and you'd rather it be grainy than not have the shot, it's perfectly fine. Don't be afraid to shoot a high ISO, because sometimes the high ISO images tend to work at the best. They look really nice. It's like the moment that you wouldn't have otherwise caught. But okay, so that's that done. And range for 4K. So here you luckily get an option for ISO range for everything, and then 4K video as well. So that is a bit too high there as well. I'll probably make that like smaller. Let's make it 1600. I would go 800 again. I'll do 1600, because in video I don't want a grainy video basically. So max for automatic mode, if you set in automatic, I've put in the lowest value. I don't want it going over 1600. Max for auto in 4K, let's go 1600 again. Max for auto in video mode, let's go 1600. I don't want to go any higher than that basically. So when your ISO setting is set and you're in automatic mode, it won't ever boost it too high, because I've seen some of the boosted pictures and I was like, what? For my uses anyway. Auto lighting optimizer, you've got a couple of options here. This is, I had a look at the Canon guide just so I give you the full information on this one. They say it's the correct brightness and contrast automatically to avoid images that are too dark or have too little or too much contrast. So think about taking a photograph of a lot of sky and not too much ground. You get like a disorientation kind of feel of too much light and the camera doesn't know, is it actually really bright or is it dark? So this is meant to help you with those situations. So think about cloudy days, think about high exposure photographs, those kind of things. Disable during manual exposure. You got different settings there: low, standard, and high. I don't really, well, let me turn it off actually, because I don't really use it. Okay, now highlight tone priority. Highlight tone priority. So let's have a look at that. Two options: disable and enable. Disable. So with this highlight tone priority, I've actually looked at the advanced guide to see what they tell you about it. And you got off and you got D+. They say in the advanced guide, you know what they say? This is it. So setting highlight tone priority to D+ or D+2 will prevent you from setting ISO speeds lower than 200. Under some shooting conditions, images may not look as expected even if you choose this option. So I don't know why they've got it. Improve graduation in bright image areas to avoid loss of detail in subject highlights. So that's basically what it is. Let's just turn it off, shall we? Because you know what? ND filter, this has to be the best thing since Captain America and Tony Stark, because if you're doing outdoor vlogging, you may remember ND filters are basically the sunglasses that make your lens not have as much light enter it, which then gives you nice options to have low aperture and blurry backgrounds in your vlogs. This camera has it built in. It's a point and shoot power shot camera, but it's got it built in, so you can turn it on or off. I normally have it on, which is what it was on. Metering timer, this is how long it meters based on your camera settings for taking a video or photograph. So it looks like metering around your scene. So we've got a few options there. Mine's set on the 4-minute. Zebra settings, mine's are off. You've got different options here now to allow you to have the extra zebra patterns on screen to see what you want to basically do. And that is a quick look at menu number 3. We're doing well. Well done. You've made it so far. I'm hoping you're finding some use in these breakdowns of the camera. And let's have a look at the next menu. Beauty. So now we're onto the screen number 4. We're still in the first menu part of the camera, and we've got white balance. So this is AWB, stands for auto white balance. This automatically gives you a starting point. With my photos, I would take them in auto, I don't mind. When you're editing them, I can always add things to them if I want to edit them. Auto does quite a good job. You've got different options here now. So daylight, you've got shade, you've got cloudy, you've got tungsten. These two are quite good, because if you've got lights like the old style light bulbs, you can put this mode on, which makes that orange tinge go away a little bit, so it looks a little bit more like a day balanced light. You've got flash options, you've got custom. The custom one's quite good. I'll explain the custom one in the next menu option, and you can set the color temperature. Now this is going to get a bit advanced, but if you've got lights and you've set them to a certain color temperature, you can put that value here so you match your lighting setup. So I think it's a bit of, not a pro, but it's like a more advanced option in a point and shoot camera, having this option. So custom white balance is a good one. When you select it, all you do is you would take a photograph of something white in your environment, and then when you select custom white balance, you choose that photograph as the one to set it to, and then that will set your white balance based on your custom location. But remember to turn that off when you're doing a different shoot. You can always change it if you want to, but it's something to worth remember. White balance correction, okay, this one, even in their guide, I've searched for it, and it says on page 58 there's some information there, but it's not. So I'm not too sure why I would use this, because you can actually add a little bit of a tinge on your photographs for a certain color, but I don't see a use for that, so I'm not too keen on it. I will put the guide in the description so you can look at it yourself and get Canon's non-existent information about it, or you might find it. I looked quite hard, but it wasn't there. Okay, picture style standard. So again here, this adds a little bit of effect on it. I always shoot in standard. You've got portrait, landscape, fine. These kind of give you a bit of extra depth in your photographs. So if you're doing a portrait shot, you've got like a nice smooth, slightly smooth skin view. Landscape will give a bit extra pop to your different contrasts and give you a bit of a faithful look. Fine detail, neutral, and you can do, yeah, it's basically, have a look at those. It says what it is on the tin. And number 5, ooh, here we go. This is where it gets exciting. Autofocus method, AF method. Now if you select that, you can do a single point, or you can do face tracking. It's contrast based face tracking, so it's not eye focusing or anything like that. It's not fancy, but it's still okay. It does well. Then we're going to look at safety, MF, manual focus. You can turn that on or off. I'll leave it on. Image stabilization settings. So this is interesting. I've done a full video about the 3 stabilizations and showing you examples vlogging, so you can check that out. But ISO mode on, I normally always keep it on standard. You can put it on low, but you get a bit of introducer's shake basically when you're walking. High will crop in a little bit, so you get a tighter look. But if you've got a tripod or something, like a mini tripod, then you'll be fine. That needs skill, that does. Okay, so you go image stabilization done. Standard mode, let's go back. Auto level, I enable this. This is basically when you put it on camera, it will automatically keep your horizon level, so it's like a nice little feature. Digital zoom. Now I turn digital zoom off because I don't want the image to be degraded by me zooming in too far digitally. I've kept optical zoom on, and you'll be familiar with this camera. It does like equivalent of 24 to 100 millimeters, so it's a nice reach, and you've got like a bit of a focus on. HDMI info display. If you're live streaming, which is what I'm doing right now, you'll see there I've got it in the on mode, so that is on full HD, and that gives you that view of menu 5. And now 6, movie servo autofocus. You've got a couple of options. You can smoothly autofocus, or it can be responsive where it's like snappy, or you can turn it off. I keep it on smooth, so it's a slow transition, so it's not jerky basically when it focuses on your face. Okay, and slow shutter, auto slow shutter, I don't really use it. So automatically record brighter movies when dark. I'm not a big fan of that, but record movies with smooth subject movement when dark. So it's kind of giving you an additional option to help in slow shutter speeds and lighter and brighter situations. So yeah, it's there for you if you're thinking about it. So again, we are talking G7 Mark III. So there will be some things in this menu that you don't see in others. Luckily, well done, congratulations. We have gone through the first menu. We're on to menu number 2 now. Well, I say 2. You'll notice the first one is called shoot, and this one's called play. So the first camera symbol, the red one, stands for shoot, and you've got like shoot 6, shoot 5, shoot 4, shoot 3, shoot 2, shoot 1. So that's like basically what they call it. So now we're on play 1. Protect images. You can select to protect images. So if you've taken a really good photo and you don't accidentally delete it, that's basically what that is. Rotate stills. So once you've taken photographs, you can set to rotate them. So you can simply do like 90 degree, like see that, I'll flip that around. That's all it does. Menu, go back, change movie, rotate info. So show files only. You can see that there, and you can see the information about it. So that's handy, you know, it gives you an option. Erase images if you want to delete them. So the camera's got that self-contained, so you can do it within camera. You can set up a print order if you want to print them out in a photo book style. Photo book setup. So selecting images and making a photo book. Now, there's a whole new kettle of fish here. I'm showing this in the basic option. You can actually get the Canon app, which then it gets like, boom, you're going to instantly get extra options there. But I want to keep it. I don't know if everybody would want to do that. Because if you're using this camera for quick videos, you might not want to get too intensely. And I don't like having to buy something, then having to download an app to use it. I'm like, just let me use the camera. Most of the time you're buying it for like an event, you're going somewhere, you're traveling and you just want to record, and then you think about it afterwards about the apps and stuff. Okay, creative filters is an interesting one. So you can actually set creative filters based on soft focus, fisheye effect, and it kind of gives you that, see that, how it messes up my image with a fisheye, whatever that you want to call that. So think of it like Instagram filters basically. Cancel, set, and you've got a couple of other art bold effect, water painting. Let's try water painting effect. I want to see what that. Oh, just yeah. Come on now. What's that all about? What is this? Okay, you know what? I'm tempted to take a picture, selfie, toy camera effect. You know what's gonna happen now? We're gonna do a selfie. Or we're gonna test that and see what this beauty is. But okay, let's go. Oh, battery low. No. Okay, we may have to show you another feature of this camera, which you may not know. Let me go back to menu. Currently it's telling me the battery is low, so we'll work it until the battery dies, and I'll show you how you can power the camera indefinitely. Pro tip, so watch out for that. Okay, so creative filters, it was good, but I've got a picture of me, so I can show you it. Let's go menu. Is that the only photo in there? I think that's the only photo in there. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to see toy camera, but okay, that's fine, we can live without it. Now number 2, so play 2, raw image processing. Not compatible images available for selection because I haven't taken a raw photo. So what we're going to do, right now we're going to show you how to power the camera for longer, and then we're going to work this magic. So I thought it was a great opportunity to show you how you can power the camera for longer based on this here. So what is this? This is a MacBook Pro charger Type-C with the little option there. What does it allow you to do? Well, you can plug in Type-C here. You can plug that into the floor. Make sure to get the one that's at least 30 watt USB-C power adapter, and you would basically plug it into the camera. So you've got HDMI there because I was showing the HDMI menus. Plug the USB there, plug that into the floor, and you've got power continuously. So you can live stream for up to 3 hours. Well, I've done 3 hours before, so I know I can do 3 hours. I can do longer. Okay, so all I've done right now is I've plugged that into the floor power socket. USB Type-C is there. You can see it's orange for charging, but that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is it powering the camera indefinitely. And the best option here is you can actually take the battery out and it'll still be powered. Take the battery out and then turn it on, and look at that. So without the battery being present, I've got a live streaming camera here, which is going to be flip up screen, make me look half decent, presentable, and well, more than half decent. It looks actually very good. It's got a good, let me show you it. You can see it right here. Look at that. Come on now. Comparing that to the DSLR with like a decent lens, it's got good Canon colors. It makes me look nice, which is a challenge. If you're planning to power it, I will put details in the description for the camera and what I'm using to power it. Pick yourself up a camera, pick yourself up a cable, and pick yourself up a light, and you are ready to live stream. Like you know, that's quite low. Let me put it a bit higher to make it even more nicer. See like that? That would work out nicely for a live stream. What are you playing at? Get yourself a camera. Okay, so I was doing a menu course. Let's go back to menu options. Okay, so because I've taken a couple of raw photos for you now, I can show you raw image processing. Select images, select. Look at that beauty there, mate. What's he doing with the toy? Okay, so we select that one. You press OK menu, and then use shot settings or customize raw processing. And watch this. It's quite, actually, that's quite a good thing. So you can adjust the brightness. You can add brightness to it. Look at that. I'm using the camera to do this. That is quite intense. You can go down, auto white balance, or you can change the white balance after the effect. So what would I say? Daylight, maybe shade, maybe cloudy. Nah, 52,000 Kelvin. No, I'm not at 52,000 Kelvin, but you can set it to what Kelvin you are at. Oh, that would have been the cherry in the cake if you could. Oh, wait, 1 minute. Star set color temperature. Star. Okay, star. Oh my god. Look at that. Okay, so let's put it to what I'm on. So in true life, it's about 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. About 4,000. Nah, a bit more. About 4,200. That's about true to that color temperature up there. Okay, so we've done that. Let's go menu back. What else can we change? White balance. Okay. Oh, is that it? Oh, no, a minute. High ISO speed, standard. Auto lighting optimizer shot settings. Okay, actually we can see that now. Disable. Low. Standard. High. Okay, so that gave me a bit more pop in the face, doesn't it? Making me a bit brighter. That's not bad, you know. I'm liking these extra options. If you've not got a laptop and you're using just the camera, you're basically sorted, aren't you? Because you've got everything here that you would need to do in camera. Customize raw. How do I save that? Okay. Is it one of these options here? Reset. Save. Save as new file. Yes. Perfect. So you've actually got the original and processing completed. Continue image processing. Yeah, go for it, mate. Do it. Ah, yeah. I like that. Raw image processing. So if I was out and about and I didn't have my laptop, well, technically I could connect it to Wi-Fi and put it on my mobile phone and edit it on my mobile phone. But I won't need any software because I've got it in here. Okay. Creative Assist. Oh, it's bringing my ugly mug up again. Creative Assist. Set. Okay, so you got additional options in here. Look at that. I wasn't ready for that. Preset. Auto. So like, think about them as like Lightroom presets. Soft. Warm. Cool. Does it? If I put it on cool, does it make me cool? No. Shine. Lime. Peach. Yeah, feeling a bit peachy today. Let's do that. It's peach. Okay, so how do I save that? Okay, so you press star. Save as new file. Okay. Saving. Image save folder within number. Okay. Returning to original. Okay. Well done, mate. Well done, Canon. I like that. Quick control raw processing. Creative Assist raw. That's similar to what we just looked at in more detail. Red eye correction. I don't have red eyes, do I? I just press select, see what it does. Busy. Oh, okay. Save as new file. Nah, cancel. I don't need to. I didn't have red eye. If you use a flash on the camera, then you can use that. Okay, menu. And create an album. Ah. So you can put them in albums. Okay, nice. I like that. Cropping. So if you want to crop an image, how easy is it to do though? Set. Oh, straighten the images. Let's see if that works. But how do I on the camera do this though? 1 minute. Is it there? Is it the top? Oh, 1 minute here. Yeah. So you can actually turn the... Let me show you what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm turning that dial and it's turning the image to like kind of straighten it out. So let's do set. Okay. Let's 16:9. Okay. Set that. And it crops it in for you. So like you don't really need any editing software basically. That's what the gist of it is. And then if I go back up to the top. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, so that's an option for you. Resize. Ooh, what does resize do? Set. Oh, so what? No. Oh, okay. So you can pick between a few sizes. 3.2 million pixels, 2K, or okay. So a few options. If you want it a bit smaller for social media. So that's number 2. That's a good option out of that. Play 2. Number 3, rating. So rating, select images to go. Oh, so if you find your favorites, you can give them a star rating. which makes it nicer for you to be able to find them later. And you can rate them by images in folder, all the images in a card, set a range. Okay, slideshow. What? No, go on, start, go on, set, play, go on, play. Also, it'll just loop through everything that I've recorded. Look at that guy. Look at him with his grandpa jumper on. Okay, going back. Back. And set image search conditions. Ooh. Oh, you can, so if you've rated it, you can find them by the rating you've set. Jump, image jump. Okay, so you can, when you do the roller, should it jump 10, or you can set that to a certain amount. Okay, that's fine. And what about the next menu? Number 4, playback information display. Oh, so what it shows you. Okay, so you can have additional histograms and color balance. Okay, that's helpful. I like that you can customize it to the ones you want to see, so you don't have too many basically. View from last scene enable. Ooh, so if you're doing video, it shows you a view of your last. That's not a bad option. And then we've got a whole Wi-Fi situation. Now this is where it gets interesting. Shall we Wi-Fi connect and pull some photos off and see how quick it is, or video? So now that we're looking at connecting to the camera wirelessly, what we will look at is downloading the Canon Camera Connect app. I've got an Android phone, so I can show you that process here. You basically search App Store for Canon Camera Connect, you install it, and once that's installed, I will show you the view right on my menu there. So we can go back to menu. We are currently looking at the Wi-Fi settings on the camera, so the phone is just downloading and installing the app. I'll walk you through the process and let you know if there's any, do you have to register for anything, or is it long-winded, is it straightforward? Open. Okay, it's installed. That was quite quick. What was that, 45 seconds or something? Oh my god, license agreement. Oh, it's all serious here now. Shall we have a look at that? Make sure you read all of that, and do not agree. Can I do, I'm tempted, you know, and it says do not touch. Do that. Ah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, you have to agree. Okay, so agree, and let's have a look. Oh, there's another one. Agree. Allow connect to access photo. Well, it'll have to, because what's technically going to happen here is you will need to give it access, because you're going to be saving files from the camera wirelessly to your phone. So let's allow that. Camera connect. Okay, so we've got the menu. Ooh, looks a bit fancy. I like the red ring lens. Okay, so we can skip. Images taken on the camera can be saved on your smartphone. Excellent. The camera can be operated and photographs even taken from the smartphone. So remote shooting. How amazing is that? Okay, let's connect your camera and smartphone wirelessly and give it a try today. Let's start. Let's just start, shall we? Location information. I'll have to give it permissions too much. I don't really want to say where I took the camera photo though, do I? Okay, let's go back. Let's see what it does so far. Let's close that. Okay. Ooh, good. I thought I'd have to create an account and log in and password, and luckily we haven't got that. On your camera, connect to the camera's Wi-Fi, because the name will come up on your phone. Let me show you what that looks like. So here you'll see there's not a list of the camera, but if I go back to the camera and go Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection and then go searching, you'll see a network now. That's establishing a signal, which will then show up on your phone. Let's just refresh it. There. If I go back here, now you'll see that G7X has appeared once I'm in that menu in the camera. So you have to be in the menu in the camera for the Wi-Fi to be activated. Connect to it. It's connected with no internet. That's fine. I don't want internet. Go back. Come back to the menu on your screen. Connection established, and back to here. You'll see now I've got it. Keep that. So images on camera, remote live shooting. Yeah. So can I take a, yeah, shooting, remote shooting. So the camera there will show me here. Wait a minute. I'm actually connected by Wi-Fi at the same time as HDMI showing you a view here, and that must look like trippy, like, hey. But yeah, so okay, that worked. Well, we don't want that. We want to transfer images, so let's go back and out of that. Okay, so images on camera, can we see them? Oh, of course we can see them. So there's that picture that we took a little while ago. Okay, select, cancel. I just want the one. Look at this guy, quite okay. That's a full-on image. Okay, so how do we import or export? Or okay, let's go back, select that one, and we'll say import. Reduce, no, original size please. Use these settings. Okay, saving image, you can't see that. Saving image. Okay, open photo app. So that's given me on my phone. What about a video? How quick will a video be? Let's look at a video. Let's look at that one. So let's go import. It's alright, but I'm imagining if it's a 4K video and it's really big, it might take a little longer. But I'm willing to live with that. It's wireless, so if I didn't want to take a laptop with me and just take the camera and that, it is doable. And I can edit everything on my phone. Quite impressed with that. Shall we do a little edit? Okay, so let's get select. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 video clips. This was me basically tidying up some cabling around my PC when I was cleaning it up. So I'd import those. Reduce, no, give me original size please. Okay, now let's see how long that takes. So I'm saying that's at least 2-3 gigabytes Wi-Fi. I like how you can see a light flashing there which I can't see. See that purple light there? My phone's quite powerful. It's got 6 gigabytes of RAM, octa-core processor, compressing and saving. What? Why is it compressing? 2 of 11. Okay, let it do its thing. We'll see why that's doing that. So it is taking a bit of a while. That would have been, if I had done it on my SD card into the camera, that would have been like snappity snap. It would have been like no messing about. So you'll notice that the on screen at the moment the menu is not showing because the camera is currently transferring files. So while it's transferring files, the camera is not activated. So that's something to remember. No, I've just figured out what's going on here. It's compressing each one and one by one is ticking it. That's going to take forever. No, thank you. Cancel that. That's slow. I would rather much take the memory card out, plug in a card reader and plug that into my phone. You know, I'll just carry that around with me. USB 3, you'll get a lot quicker transfer speed than throwing it over Wi-Fi. And then I was like, what? I thought that would be done by then. But no, each to its own. If that's something you think that would help you, consider it. If not, it might not be the best option for you. So let me disconnect from that camera. Let's go back over here. Okay, so let's go back to menu.